Can you hear me out there? Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to attention. We already met in executive session, and at that point, we did the salute to the flag already. So at this point, I'm going to ask for a roll call, please.
Mr. Byrne? Here. Mrs. Warner?
Here.
Mrs. Gray?
Here.
Mr. Sam? Here. Mrs. White?
Here.
Mrs. Richmond?
Here.
Mrs. Bourne?
Here.
Mrs. Fulton? Mark Aaron? Here. Josiah? Here.
Here.
Madam President?
Thank you. Before the meeting starts, I'd like to draw your attention to the statement of public notice in your agendas. It is saying that there's 2 times for public comment in our meeting. The first time is earlier on in the meeting when there's a public comment on agenda items. At that time, you can come up and talk about anything that's on the agenda. And then later in the meeting, there's a public comment for non-agenda items where you can talk about anything that you feel like talking about. If you do come up, could you please sign in and give us your name and address on the clipboard, and also tell us your name and address when you come up to the mic. Okay? So we're going to get started with the meeting. Our first item. Our first item is our student representative, RJ Milligan.
Hi everyone. I want to start off by talking a little bit about Mr. Ridge that we had 2 weeks ago, and it was really a great success. We had a really big turnout. It was a lot of fun, and I didn't win, but it's still a great show anyway. And spring break that we had last week was good for some, kind of just normal week of school for others, and more people ended up going to school than I had originally thought and said 2 weeks ago. But the teachers still held back on the work, and there's not that much makeup work to do, and they didn't really do too much. So students can get caught up pretty easily. And the high school has park coming up this week, which everyone really loves so much. And most seniors aren't going to school, but there are some volunteer activities that the teachers have set up. So a lot of students who aren't here in park can take part in those if they are not, if they're still going to school. And junior prom is coming up this Friday, so everyone who's going to that is excited for it. And then next week, we kind of just get back into normal things and kind of push towards the end of the year.
Thank you. Do any board members have questions?
Who won Mr. Riz?
Brian Richardson.
And what was his talent?
His talent was he played piano and sang, and it was good.
And also, you have the senior breakfast, I think, this week?
Oh yes, senior breakfast is this week,
Thursday or Wednesday?
Thursday.
Any other questions? Thank you very much for
Thank
the
you.
support. At this point, we're going to hear some student recognitions and also teacher recognitions. So the board's going to move down below for that part of the meeting.
Okay, good evening everybody. Thanks for giving us such a great turnout for this evening's events. As Mrs. McEwen pointed out, we're here this evening to do some recognition for both students and staff, something that we always enjoy doing at our meetings. So we're going to start with some athletic recognitions, and then we're going to do our Teacher of the Year recognitions for each of the schools. So I'd like to kick it off with Mr. Shello, who's going to come up and introduce some of our track and fencing coaches. Mr. Shello.
Thank you, Mr. Markarian. Thank you again to the Board of Education for allowing us the opportunity to recognize some of the successes of our student athletes. It seems like we've been on a great run the last couple of years, and I've been here every season to introduce state championship teams that we've been quite proud of. Although this past winter, we did not have an outright state championship team. We have a girls track relay team, and we have boys fencing squads, which kind of equate to a relay team, who won state championships. And so first I'd like to bring up Coach Tim Mooney of the girls indoor track and field team, and he will speak of and introduce his girls 4x800 state champions.
Mr. Shelby. So I had the privilege of, actually girls, you can come on up for it right now. But I had the privilege of doing this last year for the same situation. The girls won, they first actually won the Meet of Champions for New Jersey, all groups title, indoor for the 4x800 meter relay. It was the first year the state had held that competition. So they did it again this year, so that gives them 2 in a row. The only team that did that, obviously. But they also have 3 outdoor ones, so it was their 5th 4x800 meter in a row in New Jersey, so it's the longest streak going on in any event, which is really neat to be a part of. In addition to it, 2 of the girls from last year graduated, so we have a freshman and a sophomore joining them. This year they went into the national championship. It's pretty hard to qualify for. It's extremely hard to qualify for. Most teams spend the season just trying to do that. They qualified pretty early in January, and they went in as the 13th. The lucky 13th seed going in, so it's not such a bad number. They went in as the 13th seed. They ran that night with a lot of confidence stuff, finished as national champions. Beat teams from all over the United States. In New York, it's nice that it's close to us. We don't have to do the travel and stuff like that, hour ride. But couldn't be more proud of the way that they've competed and represented the school over the last couple of years. They have a really nice little streak going on of things. And 2 of the girls are going to be running at college this year. But really special for all of them. It's kind of as a coach, it's probably like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I would think to actually have a team at that level. And I was fortunate enough to see it done twice. So I feel very, very lucky, very privileged to be a part of it. But again, they've done such a great job of representing Ridge High School, I think, throughout the season at such a high level. So congratulations to all 4 of them. We have sophomore Olivia Cicchetti. We have seniors, 2-time national champion Megan Convery. We have a freshman, Morgan Lyons. I shouldn't have to open up and look at the name, right? We have a senior, also 2-time national champion, Caitlin Von Dalen. I would be remiss if I didn't congratulate the fencing team before I left for all their achievements this season as well when they come up. We don't always get to see each other so much, unfortunately, the way schedules and things like go like that. But I just want to congratulate all the kids that were involved in that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Mooney, and congratulations, ladies. Outstanding accomplishments, and best of luck going forward in the spring season. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Glenn Pernia with the boys fencing team.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone's enjoying the evening so far. And I'll introduce you to the 2 squads of the boys fencing. For those of you that don't know an awful lot about fencing, which was actually me a year and a half ago, fencing has 3 different weapons, and 2 of those weapons are represented here. So we've got foil, hands up with foil, and sabers. We are. All the enthusiasm of elite fencers. This year, Ridge, the whole program, the boys and the girls program, surpassed itself, set new records for the school program. And I'm lucky to have been a part of that, just my second year coaching. I'm not a fencer, I'm a sports person, but I'm not a fencer. The boys overall, all three weapons came second in the state, and the girls came third in the state, which was a terrific year, and the best the school's ever done in that regard. As far as the gentleman you see in front of you now, the foil and the saber weapons competed on one day against a whole bunch of other schools. It was a qualification. So we basically had the 20 best schools from around the state competing, and which meant for these guys, going up against 20 different schools, meant that each of these guys here had to fence 19 individual bouts, which in a day that's a lot of fencing. And there's a 5 or 6 hour day, maybe a 7 hour day, and fencing is very intense. You fence and then you might not fence again for another 15, 20 minutes. So it's not just a physical feat, it's a mental feat as well. So these guys fenced extremely well, and both squads, the boys and the foil and the sabres placed first. I just want to single out a couple of individual performances on the day. 19 bouts, won 18 of them. And the big fella at the end, Andy, fenced 19 bouts and won 19 bouts. So this was a terrific season with all the fencers, the boys and the girls. It's a shame the girls can't be here to celebrate as well. They came so close to achieving similar successes, and I'm very proud of these guys. We're going to miss a bunch of these folks. Two of them are seniors here, and there's a couple of absentees that are also seniors that can't be with us this evening. But we're convinced the program is going to be just as strong next year. The other head coach, Jason, who actually is a fencer, tells me that coming out of this school, WAMS, from 8th grade into 9th grade, there's more talent, and James' little sister is going to be in 8th grade next year. So James' little sister's in the pipeline for the year after next as well, so we're very happy with that. So it seems that this isn't a fluke year by any means. We've got plenty of talent coming through, and I'm hoping to be here with Mr. Shuller next year to do it all again. Thank you very much. Erickson. Sorry, Erickson's 10th grade. Junior 10th grade. Got a baby face. James Liao, sophomore. Eric Blue, sophomore. Daniel McCarthy, senior, headed to Notre Dame. And big fella Andrew McGowan, who's so excited because he realised that about 20 minutes ago we share about that. Guys, in that sense, you'll get the water there. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shello, Mr. Mooney, and Mr. Pernia. Congratulations to your students and awesome accomplishments. Really enjoyable to have the kids come and spend some time with us this evening. So moving on to some of the adults that we'd like to recognize tonight, we're going to be doing our Teacher of the Year recognitions. And we're going to start out with Mr. Paul Simpola, who's going to introduce his Teacher of the Year. So Mr. Simpola.
I'd like to call Mrs. Stephanie Orr up here. Stephanie Orr is an outstanding teacher at Cedar Hill Elementary School. Mrs. Orr graduated from Douglas College and Rutgers University with a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's degree in special and elementary education. She continued her education with fellow teachers from Cedar Hill with an online course from Marygrove College, and then went back again to Seton Hall, Seton Hall to get her supervisor's certificate. Mrs. Orr remarked that she has always looked for chances to help others. Over the years, she has been part of groups dedicated to making a difference in the lives of other people. Stephanie knew she wanted to be a teacher, and her family supported her in this endeavor. Mrs. Orr's philosophy is that all students can learn if given a supportive environment and strong instruction. Every student has special gifts, and if she can find those gifts, she can help that child to be successful in all areas. Stephanie encourages all students and staff to understand and celebrate the differences that make each individual special. She views teaching as a learning process. She learns from her students, colleagues, and parents all the time and feels it ultimately makes her a better teacher. Mrs. Orr began her career at Cedar Hill School in September 2000. Former Principal Joe Malika hired Stephanie as a first grade teacher, and Mrs. Orr stayed in that position for 9 years. She enjoyed her students and was often given students with special needs and students not classified, but who were still struggling. Stephanie loved the opportunity to use her special education background in a general education setting. She loved working with an amazing staff members on her team, as well as having instructional aides in the classroom to assist her. After 9 years, Joe asked her, would she be interested in teaching resource room? She gladly took on a new opportunity under Supervisor Lisa Stanzione. After working as a resource room teacher, Mrs. Orr had an opportunity to work as a literacy support teacher. In this role, she worked with students in multiple classrooms on a number of grade levels. Upon her return from maternity leave, Mrs. Orr became an in-class support teacher. Again, Stephanie loved being able to use her knowledge of general and special education. She worked as an ICS teacher for several years with several of our staff members, and went into many rooms as an ICS math teacher. 2 years ago, Mrs. Vitale asked Stephanie to take on yet another role as the language and learning disabled teacher for grades 3 through 5. She accepted that position and has loved working with the students and the amazing staff in her room each day. Besides teaching students, professional development is a huge passion for Stephanie. She believes all teachers need the opportunity to learn and to have leaders help them be the best they can. She believes all students can be successful if they are given strong instruction by teachers who understand how to reach them. Stephanie explained that too often teachers and other staff members do not know what to do to help struggling students, but they have the desire to help them succeed. Stephanie has taught many staff colleges to help teachers meet the needs of each student. She often meets with teachers and other staff members who are looking for suggestions and assistance with students. Having worked in all elementary grade levels at some point as either a general ed, special ed, or lit support teacher, Stephanie finds she can relate to the issues with which the staff are struggling and desires to help them in any way she can. She has served as a mentor for several people at Cedar Hill. She has served on the Professional Development Committee for over 10 years. Beyond professional development and mentoring, Mrs. Orr has served on the Crisis Management Team, Faculty Advisory Team, the Burness Township Education Association, the District Teacher Evaluation Committee. She's been a grade level leader, aftercare co-director, I get tired reading this, mini units director, and taught summer school and mini units herself. A colleague wrote that Stephanie has earned the respect of her colleagues, supervisors, and administrators. She is viewed as a positive leader, a cooperative team member, and an asset to the whole school. She not only contributes to, but establishes committees. When Stephanie thinks of a project that is in the interest of the greater good, helping the community, or making the world a better place, she makes it happen. She's on multiple committees and in charge of additional programs, but is never too busy to give advice or help out somebody who asks. A colleague wrote, "When I describe the traits of a great teacher and a good person, I describe Stephanie Orr. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Simpola. Congratulations, Stephanie. Next up, we have Dr. Oliver for Liberty Corner School.
This year, Liberty Corner's Teacher of the Year is Mrs. Carol Beadle. Mrs. Beadle is an elementary music teacher who has dedicated 11 years to her field in education. She has taught in Bernards Township her entire career and is adored by all our students and our families. Mrs. Beadle is always willing to incorporate Mrs. Beadle is always willing to incorporate new practices as well as take risks while extending herself professionally. She's an educator who exemplifies the best approaches in the fine arts curriculum, someone who is willing to learn from colleagues and also share strategies with her staff. She's truly a team player. She's always gone above and beyond for our school. Her influence goes beyond just the curriculum that she is responsible to cover. She has a sincere desire to provide the individual support her students require, while also helping them to see the application of music across the curriculum. Mrs. Beadle possesses the excitement and enthusiasm for her profession, which transfers to both students and staff members of Liberty Corner. Outside of her regular K-5 music curriculum, Mrs. Beadle leads a very large 3rd through 5th grade choir, where over 65% of the eligible participants take part in their choir. She continually brings culturally diverse music to expand the students' repertoire, from music around the world to classical and pop. Her passion and leadership qualities have inspired some LCS students to join the staff choir. Over the years, this choir has performed for students, for the Board of Education, and also for parents, which truly demonstrates her impact on the climate of Liberty Corner School. She is also part of many committees of Liberty Corner that focus on nurturing the school's environment, such as our Character Ed Committee, Special Days and Events Committee, and also our Multicultural Committee. Mrs. Beadle is a hardworking teacher and an inspiration to the entire school. And I couldn't be more proud of Mrs. Beadle, or be more proud to actually be the one standing up here to present her as Liberty Corner's Teacher of the Year.
Thank you, Dr. Oliver, and congratulations to Carol. Next up, Ms. Hosny will present for Mount Prospect.
And it is my pleasure to ask Ms. Lania Kuguro to come down as our Mount Prospect. Prospect School staff as a school counselor in the summer of 2014. Yes, she is non-tenured and has gained this honor. So that's a round of applause right there. Ms. Kuguro immediately won the interview committee over with her enthusiasm, her smart approach to counseling, and her warm personality. Ms. Kuguro earned her master's in school counseling from the College of New Jersey, as well as a master's in education from Fairleigh Dickinson University. Ms. Kuguro is a passionate educator who believes that every individual is special. Her office is filled with love, warmth, and caring, and these attributes are the foundation of her work and who she is as a person. Ms. Kuguro works with staff to assist the students in developing all of their social and emotional needs. She provides support through small group counseling, individual counseling, and classroom guidance. Ms. Kukuro works on problem solving, self-esteem, coping strategies, social skills, changing families, teamwork, conflict, and character education. Ms. Kukuro is a member of many committees, including the staff advisory team, a core coordinator for the school culture and climate initiative. In addition, she co-leads the school safety team and the Panther Pride Character Education Committee. Ms. Kukuro has also presented workshops and staff college courses for teachers and has taken a very active role in the school community. Ms. Kukuro was also honored this school year when she was named the Mount Prospect Schools Teacher of the Year. Her colleagues say the following about her. Nessie is an outstanding guidance counselor. Since her arrival at MPS, Ms. Kukuro has changed the school culture immensely. Her lessons and all school presentations are fun and engaging. Nessie is also eager to help her fellow colleagues. Not only do the students learn from Ms. Kukuro, the staff do as well. She is a wealth of knowledge and has many great resources for the staff. The Social Emotional Learning Initiative has been one of Nessie's passions. This is a large undertaking, and she has presented and managed the program amazingly. Nessie is passionate and cares so deeply for the student body and staff that it shines in all that she does. From the day-to-day responsibilities to the large school-wide assemblies, anyone can tell that she pours her heart and her soul into her job. Ms. Kukuro works tirelessly to build a community of young learners and compassionate individuals and is regarded by parents, colleagues, and administration as a vital member of our school family. In Ms. Kukuro's own words, she says, "I am most proud of the safe and trusting counseling environment I've created at Mount Prospect. From my very first day, I felt my first priority was for students to have a warm, welcoming, and safe place where they could talk about their feelings, friendship problems, family struggles, or personal issues in a very non-judgmental place." She's committed to student success inside the classroom and in life. She believes that student success is created through meaningful relationships. The impact she leaves on everyone who knows her is undeniable. Ms. Kukuro makes Mount Prospect a very special place to be. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ms. Kukuro, and thank you, Ms. Hosany. Okay, the next elementary school, Dr. Costa for Oak Street.
I'd like to welcome Stephanie Corcoran up. I would like to join the Oak Street School staff in proudly recognizing Ms. Stephanie Corcoran as the Oak Street School Teacher of the Year. We applaud her for her dedication and commitment to her students. Ms. Corcoran is a fourth-grade teacher at Oak Street School, and she's been teaching at Oak Street for 10 years. She started out as a first-grade teacher at Oak Street. She's a graduate of the College of New Jersey and holds an undergraduate degree in English and a master's in early childhood education. This fall, she will have completed her second master's in educational leadership from Scranton University. She's an avid runner and has competed in numerous races. In fact, she successfully completed a half marathon recently. She also works for the Educational Testing Services, yes, ETS, where she writes and reviews test questions for various assessments, including the Praxis, the SSAT, and the STAA. Indeed, she is a very accomplished individual. Ms. Corcoran also serves on many school and district-wide committees, including technology, staff development, and various curriculum initiatives. She's also the fourth grade level leader, Oak Street School Technology Coordinator, Mini Units Coordinator, and the PTO Teacher Representative. Ms. Corcoran is respected by her colleagues, administrators, and parents for her expertise and professionalism. More importantly, she is a dedicated and passionate educator. Ms. Corcoran is highly regarded by her peers and is also sought out not only for her educational expertise, but for her knowledge in the area of technology. She's very interested in the emerging new trends in technology and is eager to explore any of its possible applications in the classroom. She is also willing to explore and try new things. After I shared articles with the staff about the benefits of flexible seating, she jumped right in. She has successfully infused the benefits of flexible seating into her classroom. Ms. Corcoran can always be depended upon to find a solution to a problem, and the staff routinely seeks her out for her assistance. The following quote embodies Ms. Corcoran's approach to teaching. A truly special teacher is very wise and sees tomorrow in every child's eyes. When asked what being a teacher means to her, Ms. Corcoran replied, "Being loving and kind is more important than anything else in life, and I work very hard to bring that philosophy into my classroom. I do this by creating a warm and welcoming environment where students feel safe to ask questions and make mistakes. This empowers them to make choices and decisions that help them to grow as learners and to be leaders." Again, I congratulate Ms. Corcoran.
Congratulations, Stephanie. Thank you, Dr. Costa. So moving up and away from the elementary realm, we go to Mr. Kraus. He's going to introduce our Ridge High School teacher.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to ask Ms. Janine Quimby to come up, please. Ms. Quimby is a language arts teacher who has devoted the last 11 years to exemplary teaching at Ridge High School. She is a skilled and talented educator who creates a positive and caring learning environment for her students. Ms. Quimby strives to improve the quality of education offered at Ridge High School, and her students excel because of her instruction. She's a certified AP language and composition teacher, and her AP students regularly post exceptional scores on the exam. Ms. Quimby has also taught in-house professional development courses on, among other topics, and there are many, the benefits of interdisciplinary instruction. She advises several clubs at Ridge, including the Feminist Club. She serves as a class advisor. She has been on many numerous committees at Ridge, including the Professional Development Committee, and she is on our school safety team. She also maintains a strong connection with her alma mater, the College of New Jersey, where she has taught workshops and classes and has sat on panels with other secondary educators. Ms. Quimby willingly accepts these responsibilities in addition to her daily teaching assignment. She embodies the term teacher leader. Ms. Quimby states, "I am committed to offering a variety of instructional and assessment methods. I strive to be innovative and to tailor my instruction to best suit the needs of the students in my classroom. Incorporating student choice and using interdisciplinary methods are both passions of mine. Permitting more student choice allows students to take ownership over their own work and feel more invested in the curriculum. I try to read as much and as frequently as I can in order to enhance the course literature. I also thoroughly enjoy listening to authors discuss their writing processes and often bring these insights back and share them with students." Ms. Quimby has been described as a quote-unquote role model, someone you can confide in and trust, and who absolutely gives her best each and every day to the students at Ridge. In a word, she is someone to emulate. Congratulations, Ms. Quimby. We are so proud of your contributions to Ridge and its students, and so very proud of you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Janine, and thank you, Mr. Kraus. Before we have Mrs. Hudak come up and introduce our last Teacher of the Year, I just wanted to mention, some of you might have noticed these Teacher of the Year signs. So the teachers will all be very excited to have these posted in a designated parking space for next school year. I'm sure they're all well aware of that. But for the benefit of the public, they do get a perk for being Teacher of the Year. So before Mrs. Hudak comes up, I just wanted to ask our Teachers of the Year, when Mrs. Hudak finishes, to come up and take a quick picture with your sign while everybody stretches their legs for a second. So with that said, Mrs. Hudock for William Adams Middle School.
Mr. Migliore.
Larry Migliore has worked in the education and speech pathology field for over 30 years, with over half of those being in Berners Township. Mr. Mig has spent his career striving to instruct students to reach their potential in all areas of communication. He can often be seen providing real-world experience for his students in order to help them build their skill set and confidence. His students are seen having authentic conversations with peers and adults building why. These experiences go beyond the normal instructional practices that can sometimes limit a student's ability to grow and the applicability to the real-world situations. His desire to go to great lengths to provide these opportunities comes with an extensive effort on his part, making sure that his colleagues are aware of the student skills that need to be reinforced, encouraging the students positively, and receiving communication back from the adults and peers. I recall Larry coming to my office numerous years ago to talk about one of his students. I thought he was going to touch base with me about a current student, but this was a student who had since entered Ridge High School. He reminded me that this young lady was a quiet, awkward middle school girl who struggled to find her voice and was very timid. I took this memory as a cue that we were going to be talking and comparing about one of his current students, but that was not what Larry's intent was. And you may not remember this conversation, but it set with me. His goal that day was to share with me the successes of this young lady far after she left the doors of William Annan. She had blossomed into a passionate, articulate debate champion. Wow. His point was not to gloat about his successes with her, but to recognize the efforts of this young lady who had made such strides in overcoming her own fears, and he wanted me to celebrate her accomplishments with him far after she graduated WAMS. And as it so happens, Mr. Mig is a champion for all of his students, inside and outside of the classroom, whether they're WAMS graduates or adults. In addition to his work as a speech therapist, he has devoted many, many years working as the director and assistant director for the WAMS School Musical Productions. In the early days of my principalship, Larry was the gatekeeper to everything Disney, at a time when Disney would open the doors to a small little production like William Annan. His constant perseverance opened those doors widely, so now many school productions around the nation have the rights to Disney. He has been able to use his background to develop outstanding actors, actresses, and crew members. His knowledge of the soundboard and lighting system in the 1969 auditorium that we're sitting in is amazing to me, and his ability to get them functioning when it's really evident they shouldn't be is even more mind-blowing. When talking about Larry's career, you will see that it's extensive and deep-rooted in what is best for all students. In that 30 years of education in the speech pathology field, he taught in Patterson Public Schools, where he was placed in Eastside High School under famous principal Joe Clark. The experience allowed him to witness students from all economic and social backgrounds. He also worked in private schools, such as Midland School, where he continues to be a speech pathologist consultant today. He was the director of speech therapy at Matheny School and Hospital for over 9 years, which services students with multiple handicaps. It is there where he was named clinician for the state of New Jersey by the Speech and Hearing Association. He has published nationwide for his work with students with developmental disabilities as well. He is known for his 25 years in student theater programs, and he also holds a teaching degree in speech and theater, and that's his passion. He directs students in theater privately as well, and he encourages their self-confidence through the arts. He supports them in choral arts, vocal strength, and awareness. He, for those of us who know him, Elvis, and the famous MC for all WAM's events, has been a professional performer himself for over 37 years and uses those performances in his education with his students to motivate them and engage them. He has been a teacher in Berners Township for over 17 years and provides communication and social skills interventions along with theater arts instructions. Larry, when I think about the recognition that embodies you today, being named as Teacher of the Year by your colleagues, I found myself drawn to the following quote by Tony Robbins. Throughout human history, our greatest leaders and thinkers have used the power of words to transform our emotions, to enlist us in their causes, and to shape the course of destiny. Words can not only create emotions, they can create actions. And from our actions flow the results of our lives. Your work with the children of Berners Township and William Annan have given so many of our children their voice in this community. For that, we will be ever grateful. Congratulations on being named.
All right, if we could have our Teachers of the Year come down for one more round of applause and a quick photo with these smiles. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight to support our Teachers of the Year. We're going to be moving along to the rest of our board meeting. Thank you very much.
I think most of the teachers already escaped the room, but I want to congratulate all the Teachers of the Year and who's still here. My students have had several of those Teachers over the years, multiple times in different cases, and in Mrs. Beadle's case, I don't even know how many years we added up all the years my students had her at every corner. She was trying her first grade, so every time they were there, when she was out, I knew Trevor was doing a countdown, so when she came back, okay, so now we're up to superintendent's report. We have items 1 through 5 as an addendum, which was
I'm not sure. The addendum to the superintendent's report as follows. Be it resolved, following a hearing, that the board confirms the long-term suspension of pupil 302729 and determines that should the pupil desire to re-enroll in the district, he shall be required to attend an intake meeting with the administration to establish conditions for his return, including a revised student contract.
Thank you, Mr. Crute. Can I have a motion for items 1 through 5 in the superintendent's report? Mrs. Wooldridge and Mrs. Turner seconds. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Byrne? Yes. Mrs. Warner?
Yes.
Mrs. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Salmon?
Yes.
Mrs. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Richmond?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolford?
Yes.
Madam President?
Thank you. Mr. McCary?
We're not getting feedback, so I think we're okay. Just briefly, I know that our student representative tonight mentioned the fact that Mr. Krause had worked with his staff at Ridge High School to arrange for some volunteer activities for Ridge High School students this week. I just wanted to make mention of that. I thought it was a nice addition to the schedule for testing that we've been essentially working through every year. The last few years that we've been doing park testing. So I thought it was a very nice addition. I wanted to express some appreciation for that. And finally, I wanted to thank Ridge Youth Sports. Never hurts to have one hardwired mic up here. So I apologize. The other item I wanted to mention was a thank you and a shout out to Ridge Youth Sports, who worked with both our business administrator, Mr. McLaughlin, and our facilities director, David Harding, to install some nice new dugouts at the varsity complex baseball field.
Thank you. At this point, we are up to public comment on agenda items, and I did receive a question. I know we had spoken with several members of the public who we had told the policy committee will be reporting out on some calendar discussions, and so although it's not listed specifically under the policy committee, if there are members of the public that had comments related to the calendar, they can come up at this time, or anything else that's on the agenda. So if you come up at this public comment, please tell us your name and address and sign in on the clipboard. Thank you. Is there anyone for public comment on agenda items? Okay, at this time I'll close public comment. So we're up to approval of minutes. We have one item. Does someone like to make a motion? Mrs. Farner. Someone like to second? Mrs. Korn. Any questions or comments about the minutes? Okay, could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Byrne?
Yes.
Mrs. Warner?
Yes.
Mrs. Ray? Mr. Salmon?
Yes.
Mrs. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Richmond?
Yes.
Mrs. Korn?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolford?
Yes.
Yes.
Madam President?
Thank you. We're up to the Finance Committee report. There's 14 items. I guess I'll have someone make a motion for the items, and then I'll give the committee report before we vote. Mrs. Ray, and second, Mrs. Woolridge. Okay, so I'll do the committee report quickly, and then go through the items before we vote. So the Finance Committee had an extra meeting last week to cover the topic of the transfer of funds from the student activities accounts. The account had been noted by our auditor for having an excess balance that had accumulated over many years, and the transfer of funds was done to address this situation. However, there's a breakdown in communication, which we became aware of in the transition from the old principal, Mr. Hallett, to our new administration at Ridge. And this transfer caught a number of people by surprise. So once we realized that, the money was transferred back to the account. Going forward, the business office and the Board of Ed Finance Committee will work with our auditor and with all interested parties at the high school to review the Ridge Student Activity Account. The goal is to make sure that no clubs and activities are negatively impacted in any way by any transfer of accrued funds. Due to the complexity of the account at Ridge and the many unique circumstances associated with the categories in the account, the Board of Ed and Administration will do this in a systematic, thoughtful, and collaborative way with no specific amounts of money in mind. So that's just kind of a recap of why we had an extra little meeting. And at that meeting, we went over the agenda items for tonight's meeting. So I will go through those. I have a piece of paper. Okay, so on the agenda tonight, we have items 1 to 4, which are standing items. Item 5 is field trips. Item 6 is donations from the Home Run Foundation, the Ridge Runners, and Ridge Booster Club to replace the ice machine. So thank you to those clubs for donating that money for the ice machine at Ridge. Let's see, items 7 through 11 are home instruction and other services for students. Item 12 is a presentation for special education parents. Item 13 is a new placement for an existing student. Item 14 is approval for hiring DevTech, who is a school security consultant. And so I think Mr. Markarian was going to give a little bio about that company at this point.
Sure, I'll try this microphone. So, that one's not going to work. So, just in light of the recent conversations that we've been having at Board of Education meetings on the subject of school security, the board has been trying to be very thoughtful going forward in what might occur with regard to any other security measures happening going forward. And one of the things in that thoughtful process was to ask for a security audit, essentially. So we were able to work with DevTech Corporation to have someone come in and do a security audit for the district. They will be looking at school resource officer arrangements, our current staffing, talking to administration and school resource officers in the district, reviewing policies and procedures, including our security policies and procedures, our facility emergency plans, the drills that we do, and they'll also be spending time looking at the actual facilities themselves, things like doors, exits, visitor management, security cameras in the district, hardware and software that we're using for security. They also look at pedestrian and vehicular traffic flow. The person that's coming to do this work comes with quite a bit of experience. Her name is Kathleen Devlin, excuse me. She was a captain in the New Jersey State Police for 27 years. She worked as a school security officer in a significantly large school district for 9 years. She was a member of the recent New Jersey State School Security Task Force in 2015, and she's got a host of qualifications and certifications around the area of school security and safety. So we are very pleased with the opportunity to work with Kathy, and we look forward to the board's approval so that we can get started and have her come in.
Thank you, Mr. Markarian. Do any board members have any questions about the items that we're voting on or about the little report that I did? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Byrne?
Yes. Mrs. Warner?
Yes.
Mrs. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Simon?
Yes.
Mrs. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Richmond?
I'm abstaining from number 6. Yes on the rest.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mrs. Holbert?
Yes.
Mrs. McKee?
Yes.
Madam President?
Thank you. Okay, we're up to the personnel committee. We have items 1 through 25. There's an addendum. There's three more items on it. Someone like to make a motion. Mrs. Warner, would someone like to second that? Mrs. Woolridge? Do you want to give the report before you look?
Sure. Is this mic working?
Yes, good.
Personnel met on April 12th. One of the first items we discussed was the security consultant.
in here. One of the first items was the security consultant, which we just officially appointed through finance. Another item that was discussed was increasing our webmaster stipends in each of the buildings because of the new Office of Civil Rights requirement for accessibility on our websites. It's creating a lot of extra work that we're hoping to get done over the summer. So we're going to increase the stipends of all of our webmasters to make sure that we are compliant. We were told that we have posted for a director of school counseling and are actively soliciting candidates to replace the challenging situation we have with Mrs. Shakes' departure. Regarding the school calendar, and there's been a lot of discussion about that in our last few meetings. We've discussed how the board policy committee is reviewing the calendar policy to try to avoid a situation like we had this year where we lost spring break because of all of the excessive snow days. In addition with that, members of the personnel committee are going to meet with representatives from PTA on May the 1st to get their opinions, suggestions, and ideas on how to move forward with calendar improvements. We were also told that we're going to be transitioning from paper employee records to digital records. It's a one-time fee for a firm to come in and do this conversion for us for $20,000 to $30,000. It's going to help us with future access of the records and in future district audits. And finally, as we do at every personnel committee meeting, we are continually monitoring the additional staffing requests for the 2018-19 school year, which will be discussed in detail at a future meeting. Any questions?
Thank you. Do we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Burnham?
Yes.
Mrs. Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes.
Mrs. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Richmond?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mrs. Wilbur?
Yes.
Yes.
Madam Clerk?
We were up to the policy committee. There's one item. Would someone like to make a motion for that item? Mrs. Klein and Mrs. Mitchell. You have a report? Before you report, sure.
Okay, we met policy committee on April 9th. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You have to keep it close.
Okay, is that better? Woo-hoo! The policy committee met April 9th, and the item up is policy number 2361, which is the acceptable use of computer networks, computers, and resources. I mean, we're just revised. We insert some new language about the student devices. So for K through 5, they're supposed to be off and away, no use of private devices. Grades 6 through 8, often in lockers, unless the teacher explicitly asks for their use. And 9 through 12, grades 9 through 12 for Rich, often put away in a spot designated by a teacher. So it's not going to be on the student's person unless the teacher explicitly requests the use of the device in the classroom. But the students, as they can now, can use their devices in the hallways or study hall, cafeteria, etc. We're having the first reading of that today. And really, the only changes really are for Ridge, and the other changes go into effect until September 2018. And we define the term as a student-owned device, or we're considering defining the term student-owned device or a non-Board of Education issued device to just define what we're talking about when it comes to personal devices for the students. There's also some language changes in Regulation 3232 for tutoring services. Nothing big. And then we talked about the school year calendar, which is policy 8210. The 18-19 school year, it's not up for discussion this year because policy states that changes have to be made by March 1st for the preceding year. We'll all catch that. So right now, we're not going to make any changes for next year. A couple of things we discussed though is like We can give notice to teachers on an annual basis regarding what the procedure will be. In the event of snow days, we can change some procedures and update procedures. How that we made, how we make the school days up. Communicating the goal, our goal would be to preserve spring break. That would be the goal, and how we would treat our snow days. Right now, there's no regulation with the policy, but we can create a regulation to explain how the policy would implement. Maybe like adding an extra page to the calendar that explains in detail the plans for dealing with snow days, so that everyone knows what's going to happen when we do exceed the snow days that we have allotted. And communicate where this can be found to the public. And the questions are, can we add extra days after graduation to the end of the year? So Nick was going to check with the state on that to see if we're even able to do that. Project graduation and graduation itself, the dates that we hate to move for logistical reasons. It's just a nightmare to move those. And project graduation sometimes itself could be impossible because we're renting a venue, and if that's the only date available, we can't get another date. So that's really hard to work with. Also, the Attorney General has to be consulted regarding the possibility to hold school after graduation. And we were hoping to come back in the next couple of weeks about that. So the current policy does not allow changes to any calendar until the 19th. The first thing that has to be done is to set a start for the school year and an end to the school year so that we can fit everything and decide what must be fit between those two parameters that we set for ourselves, and we do that. In regards to 18-19, we can try to work out a new snow day plan for the school days and holidays are set for now. For snow days, we can possibly add days at the end of the year, again, if that's allowable. We can publicize that to the public, put in the extra page in, we put that extra page in, let them know what we're going to do when we do use our snow days up. Right now, extra holidays are not possible for 18-19, but we're going to have a discussion when we're working the entire calendar for the future. And I know that Robin is going to speak more on that. So that was our meeting, and here's the vote for that.
Yeah, why don't we take a vote on the one item, and then if we want to have any other discussion on the other issues. Does anyone have any questions about the item we're voting on? On the policy for the first reading? Any questions on that? Okay, let's take a vote on that, and then we can discuss what we want. So, call the roll.
Mr. Byrne? Yes. Mrs. Werner?
Yes.
Mrs. Brett?
Yes.
Mr. Sack?
Yes.
Mrs. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Richmond?
Yes.
Mrs. Warren?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. McKeon?
Yes.
Madam President?
Thank you. I just wanted to make a few comments about the calendar. We've gotten a fair amount of input over the last several Board of Ed meetings on the subject of not having school on Diwali. A number of us have met with members of the public to discuss their concerns and hear what they have to say. We've explained to the members of the public that we've met with, and as Mrs. Korn just explained in the policy readout, how our calendar policy works. So I just want to summarize, again, for people who weren't in those conversations and to make sure it's clear that everyone is here. So the way that our calendar policy works is that the board policy says that the superintendent is directed to present the school calendar 3 years out to the Board of Education for adoption by each December. So next December is the time that the Board of Ed will be approving the calendar, and that time it will be the calendar that's 3 years out from next year, which would be the 21-22 calendar. So, but in each December, we approve the next 3 years calendars. So during this year, this year's calendar, I'm getting mixed up here. So prior to December 2017, the board approved the 2021 calendar and simultaneously the 18-19 and 19-20 calendars. And we changed the 18-19 and 19-20 calendars to include Martin Luther King Day. That happened before March 1st. Our Board of Ed policy also says that we cannot make changes to the next year's calendar after March 1st unless it's in emergent conditions, which is like a weather emergency or a facilities problem where we couldn't open the schools or something like that. So as Mrs. Korn explained, it's too late to make changes to holidays and graduation dates for next year. However, the board does have the ability to change further out calendars when we approve them next December. So as was explained by, I think, Mrs. Horner and Mrs. Korn, the policy committee and the personnel committee will be working with the BTEA and BTAA to discuss different options specifically regarding how to handle snow days and any other changes that we think would be beneficial to the calendar in terms of in-service days and things like that that would help make our calendar better. So basically at this point, we understand that people are concerned about Diwali. We're not approving calendars until December, but we understand that people want an answer on how we feel about that issue. So at this point, we've looked at the several calendars coming up. So next year, Diwali falls on Wednesday, November 7th, which is the day before the 4-day Teachers Convention weekend. And then the following 2 years, it falls on a weekend. In 1920, it falls on Sunday, October 27th, and in 2021, it falls on Saturday, November 14th. So we've already explained that next year's calendar can't be amended to take a different holiday than what's on there. However, our professional development days, our early dismissals have not been set for next year, so we would like to ask Mr. Markarian to make that Wednesday one of the early dismissals, which hopefully will alleviate some of the stress because it'll be a half day and it'll be before a 4-day weekend. And then going forward, I would like to make a motion to have the policy committee add language to our policy similar to what we have for several other holidays to stipulate what happens when a holiday falls on a certain day of the week. So I'd like to make a motion that the policy committee specifically develop language for the calendar so that after the 2018-19 school year, whenever Diwali falls on a weekday, schools will be closed for students. So that's just my suggestion for how to handle this since we can't vote on the calendars yet. So I'm going to make a motion to do that. I don't know if anyone's interested in seconding that. Mr. Salmon, everyone's second. I looked at Mr. Salmon first. So we have this motion to send it to policy to put language in to make Diwali a non-school day for students when it falls on a weekday. That's clear? Does anyone have any comments or questions about that? We need a vote for that, right? Okay. So can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Byrd? Yes. Mrs. Horner?
Yes.
Mrs. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Salmon?
Yes.
Mrs. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Richmond?
Yes.
Mrs. Korn?
Yes.
Mrs. Holder?
Yes.
Mrs. McKee?
Yes.
Madam President?
Thank you. Oh yeah, we need a show of hands for making Wednesday, November 7th, next fall, a early dismissal day. Are we okay with that? Okay. Did anyone else have any comments or questions for policy? Okay, so we're up to curriculum.
So the curriculum committee met on April 13th, and the minutes did go out today, but because the curriculum committee.
Is it on? Push that button, make sure the green light goes on.
The curriculum committee met on April 13th, and the minutes did go out before today, but because they just went out today, I'm going to leave the report at the next board meeting, which is May 7th. And thank you.
No.
Okay, we're up to advocacy. It seems like a long time with all this snowed out advocacy meetings. Okay, does anyone have any liaison reports? Okay, what about the ad hoc SEL committee?
Snow relief delay will be meeting on Monday the 30th.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we're up to public comment on non-agenda items. If you're going to come up for public comment, could you give us your name and address and sign in on the clipboard also? Thank you.
be in place. Just a couple things about future staffing. I know that we're going to be losing some pupils, have a decrease in enrollment in the next 2 years with respect to elementary school students. And I'm hoping that you will take into consideration the idea that I had a few board meetings ago about hiring another counselor at each of the elementary buildings. But I want to take it, I want to start small. I know how we have to be fiscally responsible. So instead of hiring 4 counselors, 1 for each elementary building, I would now like to recommend hiring 2 counselors to split time between the buildings. So that would be 1 would travel between Liberty Corner and Prospect, and the other would travel between Oak Street and Cedar Hill. I think that's a good compromise. It's a good starting point because, as I mentioned in the previous board meeting, I think it's very important to get to the students really at an early stage. Mrs. Shady's report with the amount of suicide preventions that have increased in the elementary schools, and I think it's important that we go down that road. With respect to the school calendar, if we can increase the number of snow days from 3 to 4, I think that would be helpful. Getting rid of the March 1st Professional Development Day. We have very few months in our school calendar where we can go an entire month without any interruption. Having that Professional Development Day at the beginning of March, to me, makes no sense. I would like to see it moved to Martin Luther King Day. It's something we do in our district where the students have off and we come in for professional development. So also in the event of snow, a thought being that we could use that day as a makeup day if we had a snow day in, let's say, December. So we could use that day as a makeup half day, students would come in the morning, and then teachers could have their professional development in the afternoon. So just a thought. Also, I would hope that you would take a look at some type of school contingency plan with respect to power outages at any one of the elementary buildings and how we can utilize the other elementary buildings in half days in order to get everybody to continue to have a day in school without having to use a snow day. That would obviously work a little bit differently at Rams and Ridge. Obviously, if Ridge is out of power, we would have to close the district because there's no way to house all of those students. Rams theoretically could go to the high school and hold classes within a half-day schedule. With what I've heard in the last couple of board meetings I've attended with respect to Raleigh, the number of students I've heard, they've spoken about the amount of assignments that are due, tests they have to study for. I think, and I don't know whether or not this is board policy, I wasn't able to find it, but I think this needs to come from the top down, and the administrators really need to come down hard on the teachers to say, look, don't assign anything. We know that there's going to be a large amount of people out on that day, so we shouldn't have any tests on that day. We should have any tests the day after. I know that in my district, we are not allowed to assign homework the night of the day after, so that includes tests and quizzes. Yeah, it's a pain initially, but in the long run, if you are going to have a large student population out of the district, I think it just makes sense. It's just common sense. So, other than that, thank you.
Is there anyone else for public comment?
Hi, my name is Rina Singh, 8 Independence Drive. Just wanted,
I can't hear you.
This is better. Rina Singh, 8 Independence Drive. So wondering, a bunch of us came in a bit late, and it seems like there was some decision made about Diwali. If you guys could clarify, is that possible? Because we didn't get to hear if it is a half day, because I thought November 7th is already a half day. So I'm not sure what exactly is extended, but we appreciate if you could just brief us on that a little bit. Thank you so much.
Is there anyone else for public comment?
My name is Gautam Kopala, 17 Honeyman Road, Westmead. And so let me reframe the issue. We heard from the kids about the Diwali holiday before. There were people who spoke last board meeting and the previous board meeting. So I'm going to reframe the issue just so that we understand what we're asking for. I think the basic issue is the religious policy for holidays in the school district is out of sync with what the needs of the kids are as of today. That's the basic issue. And so we're asking to review the religious policy so that it actually takes account of what the kids are asking for. And it means that they need to have a consistent policy that's based on some equality in it. And we have to look at the basic religious policy issue. And that's what the kids are asking for. They're not asking for a specific half a day for this year. It's for asking for correcting ongoing going forward, whenever we have this issue based on these religious holidays, that we can understand what is that policy, how is it being made, and what is the underlying principle of it, and that does it reflect what the community needs as of today. So I would you to look at it from that light. Thank you for thinking about it.
My name is Malaika Ravindran. I live in Solomon Drive. For 5 years, the Basking Ridge Indian community has been pleading with this school board to recognize one of the most important Hindu holidays, Diwali. Diwali is one of the most important holidays in the Hindu religion and is celebrated by more than 2 million people all over the United States. In Bernards Township itself, thousands of Indians celebrate the holiday every year. And last year, more than 50% of the children in all ages, in all schools, took off from school to mark the religious holiday. As the United States is growing in cultural diversity, it's crucial that every religion gets its voice heard. As a district with a growing Indian minority, it's important that students in the school district learn about not only their own culture, but appreciate others as well. Just giving an excused absence isn't enough anymore. It's about ensuring that every child in the school district feels respected for the religion and not punished for their participation. With 1 in every 4 people in Basking Ridge being Asian, it seems almost unfair that Diwali is yet to be given as a religious holiday. In countries where Hinduism isn't a main religion, such as Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand, Diwali is still given off as a religious holiday. In New Jersey itself, towns like Edison, Milburn, South Brunswick, and Piscataway all give off for Diwali. While Diwali celebration doesn't necessarily mark a trip to a holy site, it's a time when families and friends come together to celebrate the triumph of good over evil. The Basking Ridge Indian community organizes an event for not only Indians, but people of all faiths to come together and learn more about this very holiday. By giving Diwali off, this board can not only pledge their recognition for an Indian holiday, but show that it supports other minority religions represented in the district, and shine a light for a path that others can follow.
Usually the
that some of you came in late, so I want to kind of reiterate what just happened before, and then people can finish their public comment after. Does that make sense? So after the policy committee reported out, both the personnel and the policy committee reports explained that we are going to be working on our calendars going out for the next 3 years, as we always do, over the course of the summer. We're working with the BTEA and BTAA to see if we can come up with a better plan for snow days and things like that. But in the meantime, we understand the concerns of the community. We've met with a number of you, and we've been hearing your comments for several meetings. And so I made a motion to have the policy committee write a policy that says that Diwali will be a non-school day for students when it falls on a weekday. So that already was voted on by the board to go to policy to do that. So we are doing that. In regards to this next fall, it's too late for us to change holidays in our calendar because our policy says we can't change them after March 1st. So what we did was we asked Mr. Markarian to make it a half day. It's on Wednesday before Teachers Convention, which is a 4-day weekend. It has, the last 2 years has been a half day, so that's why some people already assumed it was a half day, but it actually hasn't been established which days are going to be the half days next year. So we just asked Mr. Markarian to make sure that one of them is that day, November 7th, Wednesday, for the 4-day weekend. Right. But going forward in future years, there will not be school for students on Diwali. This is what we just decided. So I just wanted to put that out there in case people miss that when it falls on a weekday. Starting in 21, 22, because the 2 years before that it's a weekend.
Good evening. My name is Leah Jane and I'm in 7th grade. I'm here to talk to you about an issue I feel strongly about, making Diwali a school holiday. Diwali serves as the start of a new year in India. It's a festival of lights, a holiday commemorating light driving out darkness and the triumph of good over evil. As children, we don't want to have to choose between our education and our culture, but as of now, we have to. Some may argue that we have enough days off for holidays and there's no room for more. But maybe that's because they don't know the whole story. On a typical week leading up to Diwali, the Indian community becomes a muddle of planning and festivities. There is immense preparation to be done for the occasion. As children, we are responsible for helping with the intricate decorations that adorn Indian homes around Diwali. Diwali is the festival of lights, so it seems only fitting that our households are brightly lit. We light little clay lamps called diyas and put them around our house to symbolize light subduing darkness. I was born around Diwali, and my parents named me Diya, meaning light, after the little clay lamps. We also string lights outside to ward off dark evil. On Diwali morning, we barely get a chance to think about our holiday until after school, when our parents rush us to put on some ethnic clothing, and we scramble out of our houses trying to make it to religious ceremonies in time. After a few of those at different locations, we perform one at our home. By that time, it is late and we are exhausted, not having thoroughly experienced the festive spirit of the holiday. Kids have school, and therefore we are unable to organize community gatherings on the actual day. Because Diwali is the most prominent of Indian festivals, many parents give kids permission to miss school on that day. Now, wouldn't it be more practical to just have a day off rather than have a large number of students out? Diwali is a holiday that we as Indians hold dear to our hearts. And on behalf of our community, I would like to propose making it a school holiday. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Archana Kapoor and I am in 23 Diamond Lane. And I just wanted to say about Diwali that Diwali is just not a one-day holiday in our religion, and we have told this to many of you, even when we met you guys individually, that it's a 5-day holiday. So even if I don't know which day you're looking at, is falling on a weekend, I think if you are acknowledging that the board is acknowledging that Diwali is important, and just like any other religion, we need to get our holiday. So out of the 5 days, we need that one day. Even if it's, I don't know how you're saying that if it's falling on a weekend, we're not going to get it, because Diwali starts with Dhanteras and it goes up to Bhai Dooj. And we've presented that before also. And just like Diya just said, that Diwali is not just one day. It's like Christmas. It's not one day. It starts by cleaning the house, by getting ready for the festival, by doing Choti Puja, Badi Puja. So I can go on to explain. But what I am hearing the board says, I'm really appreciative you all have heard us and you are looking into doing something about it. But what I also heard was that next 2 years or the 2 years after that is falling on a weekend, so it's okay. If it is falling on a weekend, we still should be getting one either Friday or Monday off, because it will still cover a full 5-day holiday. Thank you so much.
Is there anyone else for public comment? Okay, so I'll close public comment. If there's someone coming up? Yeah? Okay.
Good evening, Brittany Carta, 58 Independence. I just want to say thank you very much to this board for being so open-minded and willing to look at previous issues that have been brought forward in the past and really look at it with the right frame of mind and the right perspective, and consider doing what you're doing, whether it's giving the half day off on November 7th prior to the Teachers Convention for the weekend, and also looking at the calendar going forward. I think that speaks volumes for all of you, and I do want to say that I feel very grateful and appreciative to all of you for that, first and foremost. Secondly, if you are going to give Diwali as a holiday, I urge you, as the lady before me went, and as well as the children that have spoken tonight, because of the significance of the holiday and the events leading up to the main day, let's say December 25th is your Christmas, all the days leading up, Christmas Eve is important. If it does fall on a weekend, I think it makes sense that you give the Friday as the holiday as opposed to the Monday, because the Monday will just be at the tail end of it. There's really not too much to celebrate on that particular day. It's more of a cleanup day, and I think folks here, especially the Indian community, would appreciate having the Friday off as opposed to the weekend. And while I'm up here, I also wanted to say that I feel that the curriculum committee is working really well and working towards some of the goals that some of us have brought forth in the past, such as expanding the gifted and talented program to include reading, writing, and other forms of instruction. So I just want to say thank you for that, and please continue working on that. Thank you.
Is there anyone else for public comment?
Rina Singh, B8 Independence again. I just want to say I really appreciate all of you meeting individually with the members of the Indian community, taking the time to know what our issues are, spending so much time explaining to us how the board works, and now actually considering and giving us this holiday going forward. So sometimes that appreciation, that thankfulness gets lost in the ask, but I really want to say we are so appreciative and so thankful to the board for doing what you've done and so quickly and effectively. And do want to reiterate what Rippy just said, that we would, even for the 2 years coming up ahead, where it falls on a weekend, we would really appreciate if we can get a day off on Friday. So it's not lost, and then we don't get anything for 3 years out. So we would really appreciate if you can consider that. And thank you so much for doing what you did.
Okay, is there anyone else now for public comment? Okay, so at this point, I'll close public comment. Mr. Mercari, did you want to answer your questions or comments first? Or you want to go first? Well, I already kind of reiterated what we discussed earlier about sending the policy. We basically passed the motion to have the policy committee rewrite the policy on the school holidays, so that when Diwali falls on a weekday, it will be a day off for the students. So the policy committee will be writing that, and it will bring a policy back to the board, which we will report out on after it has its next meeting, I guess, and then it will have a first reading. So that is As far as some of the other comments, we had some suggestions about creative ways to deal with the snow days. And so our committee is definitely, several committees are looking at all the different options, and we're going to be getting input from the teachers and administrators. Also, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of creative things come to the table, and hopefully we can find some ways to make that better going forward. Having the bad weather here. There was one comment about the board policy on if students are absent in homework when they miss school, if they do miss for a reason, whether it be a religious holiday or a death in the family or any other thing that they have to miss school for. We do have a policy that says students have time to make up that work. And I know, speaking from a parent who has kids, sometimes students are hesitant to push that issue or ask for it. And so I urge people to communicate and have their students communicate with their teachers, because these teachers do need to give the kids time to make stuff up, and we have a policy to cover that. So I urge you to go through the teacher, communicate with the teacher first on that, if that's an issue for your student, regardless of the reason that they miss school. Let's see. Are there any other ones that I forgot?
So this really well so that we don't speak over one another. Share the microphone. So the one thing I was going to mention with respect to snow days was something that I wanted to look into with regard to delayed openings. Sometimes where we have a 2-hour delay, that's not sufficient, but possibly a longer delay might work. So that's something that I wanted to bring up with the faculty and our transportation provider to see if we might be able to create some type of schedule that might allow us to do something different. But that could be a challenge, but in the mix of all the ideas that we have to try to manage snow days and add additional snow days into the calendar, all with the goal of trying to help the community and the faculty have a better opportunity to get a break. I think we all saw this year how challenging it was when it was difficult to have that break. I did visit the schools last week when we had school in session at a week that we were planned to be off, and attendance was challenging. As Mr. Milligan noted, it wasn't as bad as I thought it might be. At the high school, I thought we were actually better than half, but looking around the rest of the district, we were right about half, roughly speaking, in terms of the number of kids in or the number of kids out. Half full, half empty, however you want to look at it. But, every time we do something with the calendar, every time we're asked to add another day, even that, it's just, every day compounds the difficulty in trying to make the calendar work as a whole with respect to all the issues, including things like trying to get more snow days. Adding one single holiday makes it that much harder to add another snow day. So I just think it's something that everybody needs to be thoughtful about as we do the best we can to make a calendar that works as well as possible for the whole community and our faculty.
Okay, so we are up to board quorum at this point. Does anyone have anything for board quorum? Mr. Salmon?
Just in talking about the DevTech security consultant, it looks like we're going to get some output as a board, some recommendations of a report. I know we'll work with Ms. Devlin to communicate that information somehow to the public, even though there are sensitive security issues. But just I hope we can work with her, and I'm sure she's had experience with this, so that we can have some output to the community other than we have a report of recommendations, we're looking into them. So, and I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure she has experience with that, so I hope we can just kind of work with her to do that, whether it's a presentation or some sort of output that's publicly available.
Yeah, she definitely said that she would be glad to present at a meeting, and obviously with some limitations as to what we would
Right,
on.
right,
But yeah,
of course.
yeah, we can definitely do that.
The timeline we were given was by end of May.
Okay.
At the risk of
Question for Marion on the spot. I'm wondering if you could expand just a little bit. I feel like I've been in at least one committee meeting where we discussed the complexities and impracticalities of moving students to other buildings in the district if there is some sort of building, this individual building problem.
You know, there's definitely logistical issues in terms of trying to share a building. You know, one of the things that you have to try to figure out is the timing of things, the availability of staff, how late they can stay, and how available buses are. If buses are shared and you have to do extra routes at midday, are they available to do those extra routes relative to what other obligations they might have, especially if they're, you know, contracted to be in another district. So similar kinds of logistical issues to the other alternative that I threw out there of having, hey, let's try a 4-hour delay instead of a 2-hour delay. Like, how doable is that? You know, so I think it's great to look at those creative things to see if they're possible, but I can't promise that we won't be frustrated by some of those limitations.
Well, I have something I just wanted to mention. I think most of the board members are aware of, but there's going to be a town hall meeting with one of our assemblymen, John Bramnick, who's coming, and it's going to be on May 14th. So it's an opportunity for the community to express their concerns or ask questions to him. Some of the topics listed on the flyer, it's like been all over Facebook, and I'm sure people have seen it. It does mention school safety, opiates, teen stress, and mental health, and affordable housing, all of which are issues that we've discussed and impact us a lot. So they are collecting questions to, I guess, give ahead of time. So if any board members have questions, Mrs. Richmond said she would like them on behalf of the advocacy committee. So if any board members have suggested questions and want to email them to her, that would be great. Sometime soon, because I'm sure they want the questions before the last minute. It says actually before May 7th, they want the questions. Anyone else have anything for board forum? Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I have something that actually was pre-adjournment. Seeing that the Board of Ed has a confidential personnel matter that did not get fully discussed in executive session, I'd like to make a motion for the board to go back into executive session at the conclusion of our public meeting.
And I would just add to that, there no formal board action will be taken after the executive session, and it's anticipated the board will just be returning to close the meeting.
So did you make the motion already?
Yes, I'm making the
Okay, I need
motion.
someone to second it. Warren? So at this point, we don't have anything further for our regular public meeting. We're going to go to executive session. Oh, we have to vote on it? Okay, roll call, please. Sorry. We don't usually do it this way. We usually get our business done beforehand. Jen Farnham seconded it.
Stay. Mrs. Warren?
Yes.
Mrs. Gray?
Yes.
Mrs. Sad? Yes. Mrs. White?
Yes.
Yes. Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mrs. Wolbert?
Yes.
Mrs. McKeon?
Yes.
Madam President?
Thank you. So at this point, the board is going to go to executive session. We are only going to basically adjourn the meeting after that, so there's nothing more for anyone to hear. The meeting will be over after that, just so you all know.